Hi, my name is Michael Richmond. Welcome to the Big Smith News Watch. Today, I have, or with me, Mr. Bradley Dongno. We'll be talking a lot about STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and how it benefits young lives within the Guyanese society. But not also that, he will be also trying to educate us on how he's going about incorporating STEM into probably schools and young lives within Guyana. So without further ado, Mr. Bradley Dongno, thank you for being here with us at the Big Smith News Watch.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
Let's talk about STEM. We're not talking about the plan. Let's just talk about
correct.
STEM.
Correct.
Take me through what exactly is STEM?
All right. So STEM is basically an incorporation of 4 disciplines: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It was founded by an American biologist, Dr. Judith Ramaley.
Yeah.
So at STEM Guyana, we would teach robotics and scratch coding.
Yeah.
The kids get, we use the MRT blocks. There's a manual, and the kids get to connect the blocks and build the robots. There are bigger ones that they would build, and then they have to connect the brain and a bit of coding to make it work. And that's what we would do. We teach scratch coding as well. It's an animated form of programming.
Yeah.
They basically do drag and drop.
Yeah.
And whatever they drag to the script area, the sprite or the animated character would perform that task, which basically shows them that in real life, if you write a piece of code, this is what it will do on the internet. Wow. So that's what we would teach these kids at STEM Guyana. Also, it helps them to develop what we call soft skills.
Yeah.
You get to understand why teamwork is necessary.
Yeah.
If you look at the clubs that we have, each club has a team.
Yeah.
And so the kids get to understand not just my idea is important, but his idea, our idea, and teamwork.
Yeah.
They get to learn to do a bit of public speaking, critical thinking, problem solving, and so forth.
So how does the mathematics incorporate exactly
Into STEM?
Yeah.
I would say, in a career-wise, there are certain careers. Let's say, for instance, chemistry. Yeah. You're a chemist. You've got to do an experiment. You have to understand, one, the science of how the chemicals would work.
Yeah.
You also have to understand the mathematics, because too little will make your experiment not work.
Yeah.
Too much may cause a problem after. So you also have to understand how to make it work. In terms of the STEM Guyana clubs, so they're basic blocks, but they have outcome spikes at the end.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the amount of spikes one end is supposed to have, you're building a robot and it might not be able to work as it should, because it's done incorrectly. Yeah. So for me, I would just count the spikes. It might be 10, it might be 6, and I know which side to turn it over to. Yeah. So, and you plug them in and you make it work.
Okay. But the most popular STEM argument is that it prepares students for the workforce. Mm-hmm. How is this statement factual, and in what way does it prepare you for it?
I would say it's factual. Like I mentioned earlier, the kids get to understand real world problems, and they try to solve them. They also develop certain skills that you need in the workplace. If you go to work, you have to be able to work with staff as a team. Yeah. You have to be able to communicate properly. If you don't communicate properly, then you'll have issues along the way. Yeah. So those are soft skills that the kids get to learn. Yeah. And those help them in the long run. For me, I was younger, I hated public speaking. Yeah. I disliked anything that had to put me on a stage or in front of a camera. And I started working at STEM Guyana in 2018 at the sports hall. Then I went to Bagotville in Region 3. And there was this one day, it used to be me and my sister and Michael, and they couldn't make it, and it was just me alone. And I turned up and I was like, how am I going to do this for these children? Like, I don't even talk loud. Yeah. And I had to. Yeah. Then it went on to schools invited me to talk to kids about STEM. Yeah. And from there, I just started public speaking.
Okay. So despite I did a lot of research in relation to STEM, and it forced me to ask this question. They got these STEM scholars, right?
Yeah.
Some have said that the STEM programs and education bridges the gap between male and female, which is probably fair to say, whereby it provides equality. Is these notions, is it supported by you?
I would say with what we do at STEM Guyana or at the RST in Trinidad,
Yeah.
we try to make everybody equal.
Yeah.
So you give the same amount you give to a male, you
Yeah.
give it to a female. If you look at the STEM Guyana Robotics team, the international team,
Yeah.
it is comprised of both male and female, owing to the fact that we try to make everybody feel equal.
Yeah.
That, hey, I'm a man, I'm not more than Stephanie, she's a girl. We try to make everybody feel equal. We give them the same amount of work, they work on a team, and for me, that helps them a lot. With RSC, you also have both male and female working on the support team,
Yeah.
and they do practically the same thing. We get the same training, we do the same duties, and that of itself helps to get another girl, a young girl. Seeing a female thriving in STEM
Yeah.
makes them want to be following her footsteps.
Yeah.
So that helps to bring out, I would say, inspiration to young women.
Yeah.
For instance, look at Jolene Conway, Miss World 2019.
Yeah.
She's a lecturer and she's a chemist. And many girls want to be like her
Yeah.
because what? She's working in a male-dominated field, and there are many other girls who do that. So what we do at STEM Guyana or RSC or any other club I work with, we make them feel equal. If we're having a competition, a girl has to be on a team.
Okay.
So that makes them feel like, okay, I'm on the same page with a boy,
Yeah.
or it's equal.
So is there? Let's just go into the schools for a bit. Do you think enough emphasis is being laid, in schools, or the notion is being pushed hard enough in schools in relation to STEM programs being introduced into the schools, in and across Guyana?
In and across Guyana. I'll tell you from my end. I don't know much about the other areas. I can tell you for Barbie's end. I would normally conduct what I call STEM talks.
Yeah.
And there I will try to explain to at least students and teachers why it's important.
Yeah.
Because the world is rapidly changing.
Yeah.
And
Very
we want
technological,
kids to, or students to understand that a year ago, we went to school normally, and then COVID came.
Yeah.
Everything was online.
Yeah.
We want younger children to be able to build apps
Yeah.
and learn to code from a small age. So there are some schools that would push for things like this, and there are some that would not necessarily push.
Yeah.
However, if STEM Guyana has to support and maybe the government comes on board, then stuff like this could be done on a school level. You could probably make it a designated subject or a time where they can be able to learn robotics and scratch coding and web development and all these other concepts.
It's the earliest time where STEM programs should be available for students in secondary school, right? Many program opponents feel that this time is already too late for students. Consequently, they won't develop the necessary passion and motivation to succeed. Is this factual?
I would say it depends on the person.
Yeah.
When I got a kid from STEM Guyana to start a club at my former school, Mycone Secondary,
Yeah.
we worked with fifth farmers, fourth farmers, third farmers, and I think there was a second farmer there. And I thought then that they might not be interested in it because they're already preparing to leave the school. And when we turned up with the kids, they came, they looked, they were like, okay, this looks fun.
Yeah.
And I was also looking at the how they were behaving and so forth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe they're not really interested. And the next time I got back, as soon as my friend and I hit the gate,
Yeah.
the entire class was empty and they came downstairs to the lab.
Yeah.
And you saw the interest in them. We were building robots for the competition, and we finished building. And the remaining parts, the boys teamed up and they started building things. And our time was up, but they didn't want us to leave.
Yeah.
They started building, they started playing. They built, one of them built a house and they had a piece of thing that they said was a solar panel. So for me, it has to do with the student themselves wanting to be a part of this. There were some who said, I will not be coming back to this club.
Yeah.
I'll go back to my class.
Yeah.
So it has to do with the student, the passion for them to learn. I started STEM Guyana when I was at least 20, and I was very much passionate about it, so I stayed. So it has to do, for me, it has to do with the student themselves, and not always the teacher teaching.
So what I've seen with STEM, right, is that STEM basically has a lot to do with, technological aspects
Correct.
of everything. So it forced me now to say this. In a world that is developing so fast, so quick, and also doing it very technologically, whereby we're seeing, human labor is being,
Reduced
a lot
yes.
due to robots
Yes.
and,
Automation and so forth.
automation
Yes.
and so forth. How do you go about conducting a class, Bradley? And what's the possibility of you telling a child that, you know what, in the next 5 years, probably we won't be wanting your, strength, create something technological that could actually get you paid or that could also, feed the family. How do you go about,
I would tell them that the technology is rapidly advancing,
yeah,
and as such, we have robots and automated machines
yeah,
to assist in carrying out certain duties.
yeah,
And I would advise them to take up a career or do a program. It could be skill-based, it could be degree-based,
yeah,
within the fields of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or ICT,
yeah,
wherein they know that they can be able to create something, use their skills to create, let's see, repairs, because in as much as this robot will be working,
Yeah.
you have to ask someone to repair the robots.
yes,
You would need somebody to program the robots
Yes.
and to, of course, keep it maintained and all of that. So they can take up careers or do programs in maybe computer science, robotics, AI,
yeah,
do courses in these fields so you can start learning,
yeah,
and then you can be able to keep a job, because every day we sit and wait and we say, hey, I want to go be an HR person.
Yeah.
We have robots who will probably take up their position soon.
yeah.
So you can take up careers or subjects in these fields.
This is Bradley Dongner. This is a guy that is well qualified in his field. This is a guy that upon almost every 2 months I see this guy, is receiving different certificates. So who is better for you to hear this from? I bet it's not from me. This is, it's better for you to hear this from Bradley Dongner. So Bradley, can you just tell the viewers or give them a little, in-depth on who Bradley is and exactly, let them know of these qualifications that you have.
I am Bradley Downer. I am 25. I am from Barbados.
Yeah.
I work with STEM Guyana and many other tech clubs across, I would say, the globe.
Yeah.
I am currently preparing to go back to GTI to do my diploma in computer science. I have certifications in augmented reality, programming, web development, etc.
So this there's also a concern that educators don't get clear-cut guidelines and curriculum, and so forth to follow in STEM education. Why is this so?
I would say because it is a broad field.
Yeah.
Wherein, let's say in science, you can probably say you're doing chemistry, you're specializing in one area.
Yeah.
So for me with STEM, there isn't like a specialized area. It's just 4 fields that are combined together. And there's much to be learned about STEM. Some of us just know the basics or a little more advanced. And so we just do topics within, let's say, web development or technological. Some person might do chemistry, some might do physics. So it's a broad field.
Yeah.
So I would say there's not like a specific curriculum for STEM.
Yeah.
It might just be a curriculum for a part of STEM,
Yeah.
like chemistry or physics or biophysics or whatever area.
But let's say the average parent is, or when they watch at this interview, and let's say there's this young lady that loves literature. Good. So tell me, since the inclusion is being emphasized a lot, you know, then why did science, tech, engineering, and maths alone, you know, is being alluded to?
In terms of literature,
Yeah.
she can probably go into the area of science communication.
Great.
So that's where she literally breaks down these big jargons we'd use
Yeah.
into simple language that the common man in the street can understand. For me, in public health, when we do our trainings, we might have to use the big jargons in microbiology, but then we have to break it down for the small man to understand. So she can go in those areas. She might be working with a scientist.
Yeah.
Let's say someone who's dealing with volcanoes, a volcanologist, and all she does, they relate to her and she relates to the public.
Great.
So she just breaks it down in the simple terms. It could be done via video or press release or whatever, and it's given to the public.
So then it is safe for me to say that STEM initiatives emphasizes inclusion, equality, and diversity to find and support talent then.
Correct, yes.
It's very safe to say. Okay. This year we've seen a Guyanese team won a Webby Award.
Yes, the guys from
You
UG.
know, that's a leading international award honoring excellence, you know, on the internet.
Correct.
Can you, like, you know, take us through there and where STEM, you know, comes in at that point?
Where STEM comes in there, I would say innovation.
Yeah.
You can have an idea and you work towards it. You don't have to necessarily go to the public first. You can have your idea, you can work on it, and then you can have person. Let's say you want to build an app to do something.
Yeah.
You can work on it, you can build it, and then you can probably go and ask a few persons to check it out, maybe on an Android phone or an Apple phone, on the web, and then based on the feedback, you can then go forward with your idea. You can look at local problems within the community, and you can use technology or STEM to build a solution for that.
What we're seeing is that, you know, a lot of, you know, young men and young women within the Guyanese society, they are really adapting, and they're adapting very fast to the changes that is happening, you know, within the technological field or, or the technological aspect of the world. What would be your advice, you know, going forward? Or how would you advise them, you know, like, yo, continue, this is a great field, because without, before you continue, there's where is it? Oh, there's this guy that created a website that you can actually have access to almost every stores within Guyana. You could place an order and so on.
Okay.
So I think that you know, that is actually something good.
That was needed, yes.
Yeah, that was needed. Something like an Amazon, like
Correct.
I can see. So what would be your advice to the younger folks that, you know, is now endeavoring into STEM?
I would say take opportunities.
Yeah.
For instance, you can probably join a STEM Guyana STEM club, and you can learn from there. There are plenty online learning platforms.
Yeah.
You can utilize them. You can learn how to code. If you know to code, then try building something, because these skills are very practical.
Yeah.
When I did a few programs back then,
Yeah.
I just did it for the certificates first, but then I realized that technology has to be something that's practical.
Yeah.
So yes, you might have the certificate, but you have to also be efficient in probably building the website,
Yeah.
creating a VR game, or doing an AR filter. So learn, practice, and then you can also encourage another young person to maybe join. Maybe you can tell them, well, hey, I learned about augmented reality on this site. You can, you know, do a program there. You learn, and then you get somebody else to go with you too, and then you practice.
And lastly, with the rapid pace that, you know, the Guyana, you know, with the rapid pace or the rapid growth, you know, in which we see Guyana is moving, how do you think STEM would benefit?
I would say STEM would benefit our community. One, Guyana is developing rapidly, and we would want, yes, we might have to hire a few foreigners because we might not be specialized in every field.
Yeah.
But young people, once you have talent and you know to get the job done, you can apply for a job, or you can even start your own company.
Yeah.
Maybe you can start small by building websites, and you can then extend your services to these companies. Maybe you need a web developer to help maintain the websites, or somebody to be able to do science communication, maybe get press releases done and what's not.
Yeah.
So you can start your own company or stuff like that.
Well, great. You've heard it exactly from Bradley Dongno. As the president of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali alluded to, technology is going to play a very vital part within the upkeeping and also the development of the Guyanese society. So, as you may be looking as an average father or mother, a sister or brother, cousin, auntie or nephew, I think that if you think that your younger one is equipped enough, and also if you think that they are ready for the advancement of the technological field, I believe they should join STEM Guyana. So without further ado, I just want to say thank you very much, Bradley. It was a pleasure having you. A lot of knowledge has been imparted, and I guess the average viewer can decide that they want to send their little one to join STEM program Guyana.
Thank you as well for having me, Michael. And yes, they can. All the clubs have not been reopened as yet. We have one at National Library. Then we have the learning part within the various regions that people can join. So yes, they can actually join the STEM Guyana STEM clubs.
Thank you very much, Bradley.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.